Okay, so my name is Ruben Martinez, and this is my speech 3, value speech. The Help America Vote Act of 2002 revolutionized the way that Americans voted in elections. In fact, many people thought of the voting machines brought on by this legislation as the future of voting. However, electronic voting systems do have their flaws, and as someone who is able to vote in elections, along with millions of other registered voters, I believe that electronic voting systems should not be used in elections. The main reason is because elections need 3 principles for them to happen: anonymity, trust, and vote security, which electronic voting systems do not follow. The first principle that e-voting systems do not follow is anonymity. Typically, you do not want people to know how you voted in an election. And the connectedness of these e-voting machines make it hard to maintain that anonymity. In an analysis of e-voting conducted by Gloria Lin and Nicole Espinoza of the Stanford Computer Science Department, found that since you have to enter your personal details into a voting machine, it can be hard to maintain the anonymity, since if not erased properly, the next person that in line could be able to see it. Or even worse, since most voters have to register with their state, the server or even the machine that has the information can be broken into, and the information leaked. The second principle that e-voting fails to utilize is trust. British journalist Tom Scott, in a YouTube video published for the channel Computer File, sums it up with one phrase: you do not trust. You should not blindly trust systems used in an election. And most of the systems in e-voting machines are proprietary and cannot be looked into or checked, and are only tested when an election happens every few years. Counting machines are much the same. A black box in which raw data goes in and a result comes out with no way of knowing what's going on in between. The Brookings Institution suggests an alternative to this, that you could have a paper trail or a paper backup. However, this paper trail is no better than using a paper ballot and a pencil. Not a pen, not an ink blotter, a pencil for voting. The third principle that e-voting fails to utilize is security. Most of these systems are not secure. In fact, physical voting is thought of as more foolproof because, according to journalist Tom Scott, attacks don't scale well against and are harder to do. Meanwhile, attacks in e-voting are easier to do. According to the magazine Wired, in an article published in 2016, many of these systems are running outdated and insecure software that can easily be broken into. And most of all, you can attack with just one person. It may be a rogue techie, or it may be someone hired by large corporations or political parties looking to sway the results of an election. And it can even be done remotely, even from outside the country in which the election is taking place. But what about online voting? That may very well be even worse, since most of the system is on the web for potentially anyone to look at. In conclusion, I believe that electronic voting should not be used in elections because of the 3 principles which e-voting systems compromise: anonymity, trust, and voter security. In fact, these e-voting systems undermine the institution of democracy in America and in other democratic nations.